Beginning a new gacha game can be overwhelming, especially when new systems or mechanics are introduced. If you come from a history of Wuthering Waves or any Hoyo game really, then Arknights Endfield is going to be something extraordinarily different to what you're comfortable with, and that is part of the appeal. It's different, and I'm here to stop you from running into some relatively common issues when beginning the game. So, sit back, relax, and welcome to my Arknights Endfield Beginner's Guide. Before we jump in though, I know a lot of people are going to ask, do I need to play Arknights to understand Arknights Endfield? No, not at all. You'll probably understand a little more of the backstory or how certain characters interact, but this is a standalone game that can be played with no prior knowledge or history of OG Arknights. Let's start this off with the gacha first, since this is the most important topic. It is going to be where most players make mistakes. This is not like Wuthering Waves, and definitely not like Genshin Impact. Yes, there is a 50-50 present at 80 pulls, and 160 pulls, and 240 pulls, but at no point at any 50-50 are you guaranteed the limited banner character, until they guarantee it exactly 120. At 120 pulls, you get a single copy of the limited banner character. You also obtain a copy at every additional 240 interval. Pity for the 50-50 carries over, however, the guarantee does not. What this means is that you should always aim to pull for characters when you can guarantee the 120 and never before. Weapon pulls are obtained through numerous avenues in-game, including character pulls, meaning it's relatively easy to maximize weapon pulls in tandem with character pulls. A little forethought and planning is definitely necessary before hitting that summon button though. Obtaining duplicates of operators isn't important. They provide rather small increases in damage or passives that won't provide much of a difference in total output. Are they good to have? I mean, if you can afford to hit the guarantee in future ones every 240, sure, but if you'd rather save for a future operator, do that. It's more important to diversify than it is to stockpile dupes on a single character. The story is very important. Not only does it directly affect the characters that you'll unlock early on, but it's also going to unlock new regions, new bases, new farming options, new resources to harvest, and most importantly, the rewards for the New Horizon banner. The New Horizon banner will reward you with a 6-star operator after 4 pulls. It is important to level your characters, but don't waste resources over leveling or over upgrading them. You'll get a lot of pulls in the first few days of playing, which means that you're gonna likely end up with an entirely different team by the end of launch week. You'll have a 6-star from the New Horizon banner, a 6-star Levitate from the Limited banner, and a 6-star Ardelia from the login rewards, and whoever else you obtain through the Standard banner. Resources, especially the higher rarity resources, were quite limited during the beta, especially in the early to mid stages of the game where they're most important. Ardelia is a 6-star support that we're given completely free for logging in for 3 days. Aya is one of my favorite characters in OG Arknights, and she's even more adorable here, but I mean, don't let the adorable nature hide the fact that she's incredibly useful. Having a healer slowly built over the course of the game, even if you don't think you're necessarily going to need one in the earlier to mid game, is going to largely benefit you in the long run. Trust me. Ardelia is also a decent character to combo with Levitate, adding additional utility to her heals. Logging in every day for the first few weeks is going to play a large part in how successful you will or will not be. You get a lot of rewards for merely logging in each day, much like with the free Ardelia and her weapon. While it's important to focus on Ardelia, you should also pick a single DPS and focus them ahead of other operators. You can level characters progressively, everyone to 20, then to 30, then to 40, but you should always dump everything into a single DPS first. Decide who you're going to use as your main DPS, level them, promote them, ascend them through their level cap, and then prioritize leveling skills that benefit you the most rather than trying to average everything across the board and everyone at the same time. In Arknights Endfield, you deploy 4 characters at the same time, and unfortunately, the AI isn't nearly as helpful as we'd like, so you're still going to end up doing 90% of the work, which is the primary reason behind having a powerhouse to clear content without over-reliance on the AI. Gearing is very simple. You farm resources out in the world, or through the factory, and then you craft the gear for your respective operator. Every operator has different stats that they focus on: strength, agility, intellect, and different stat bonuses that benefit them. So, do a little research ahead of time, and best optimize your gear set according to the unique specifications of each operator. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Your factory, the outposts, are a very important part of the game. It's where you craft gear, explosives, where you automate material acquisition and processing. There's a lot involved in fully optimizing it, but there are a variety of tutorials to alleviate some of that stress and difficulty. You'll not only acquire resources to upgrade your characters further, but you'll also earn currency that you can spend, craft armor, items to aid you in exploration, and overall, it'll make your life exponentially easier than if you were to ignore it. You honestly can't. Which is where blueprints come in handy. Blueprints are a way for players who don't really care about the factory to still fully utilize it without frustration. You'll be able to take someone else's blueprint and just copy paste it down into your outpost, garnering all the benefits without any of the irritation. So, while the factory management is an integral part of the game, you won't need to really do any learning outside of how to place down a blueprint. This therefore caters to both players that love factory management and players that could really care less. I don't mean this because I think it's important to have the materials on hand whenever you require them. I mean this because your AI companions tend to help you when it comes to looting items, looting materials, looting resources, but only if you've already looted them. They won't just run off and start mining a resource you've never seen before. So if you find something, loot it. Your team will help you when it comes to looting items that you want, or in some instances, when you don't. When you begin the game, you get those manual Originium rigs, requiring you run back and empty them every 30 seconds, but after a certain point in the story, you unlock electric versions that allow you to set up a relay tower and electric pylons to power them, and then have the ore directly transferred to your outpost. They're set and forget, much like you could do with your base, but require you actively seek them out and set them up to begin with. Make sure you're always maxing out your daily points. This is one of the most important forms of progression, as you obtain a regular sum of beneficial rewards every day, preventing you from hitting a progression cap. The protocol space is where you're going to be burning through your stamina. You can grind for operator XP, promotional materials, credit, skill progression materials, and so much more. Your stamina slowly replenishes every set number of minutes, which means that you'll need to make sure to log in daily to consume them all so you don't hit your cap. It's honestly a fantastic way of preparing for operator upgrades ahead of time. Part of your outpost management involves managing the prosperity of different camps. You'll set up items to be sold, you'll earn stock bills, while also increasing your outpost prosperity, which is a type of developmental progress. Every region has their own individual outposts with their respective prosperity, and only through utilizing all of them will you be able to take full advantage of everything it has to offer. After a point in the story, you also gain access to your very own ship, where you'll be able to communicate with and interact with your operators, giving them gifts and assigning them jobs, but you'll also be able to collect and sell items as an additional resource. There's a lot to micromanage, definitely, but once you get into a habit of all of this, it should become second nature. And there you go. Here are over a dozen different things that I have now prepared you for ahead of time that you're not going to miss up on. These are things you might have already known. These are things you might not have ever even imagined would exist, but ultimately, you're now set off on the right path, and the game should be that much easier for you to manage and enjoy. Hopefully you do, because I guarantee you, based off of the over 100 hours I've played over 2 different beta tests, this is a banger of a game. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the Gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.